The highest border fellow, it interested me because it was doing work specifically for people who are either detained at the border or are in removal proceedings, which is litigation. I have done litigation before, and I knew I wanted to continue down that path. Let me see if the client is here. Usually when clients come in, they come in for a full consultation, especially if they're in removal proceedings. It's not just asylum, but there are several other different immigration benefits available to individuals, specifically if they have been living in the United States for a while. ¿Cómo ha estado?
Bien, gracias a Dios.
Qué bueno.
Por el momento, pues ya que venía con miedo de la otra vez que platicamos.
Sí. I give them actual advice about what I think their case looks like and how things are going to proceed in court. And then the next step is to tell them that it will take 2 weeks for us to determine whether we can take the case. And then we look at our capacity and see which cases we're able to take on for full representation. Bueno, usted la lleva a la escuela.
Sí, no me la voy a dejar.
Eso es lo bueno. Immigration recently removed a policy that they have where ICE will allow people to make phone calls to make arrangements about their travels. They stopped doing that back in October, so that's when JFS came in and had to create kind of like an emergency shelter in order to house a lot of family units that were just being released into the streets. They were being released at the Greyhound station, at the San Isidro Port of Entry, where they have a public transit there, and they have no way of contacting their family members. They have no way of making travel arrangements to get to their final destination.
No, me dijeron que no.
No.
Es otra señora de Honduras, pero creo...
What happens there is that ICE will drop people off. Sometimes we have family members or family units that may not have anyone in the United States, and they actually need assistance with long-term shelter. So the families that I talked to the other day are in that situation.
Oh, y tienes 5 años.
Sí.
Oh, estás grandote, ¿eh?
¿Listo?
So that also means that they're going to have to go to what they call ICE check-ins, because then what ICE needs to do at that point is determine which court is going to have jurisdiction over their immigration case.
Mi nombre es Luis González, yo soy uno de los abogados de inmigración que trabaja para la agencia US Family Service, que es la agencia que...
So I was just explaining to them what to expect, because sometimes people don't know what's going to happen. They may be scared that they may be detained and that they're not gonna let them leave when they go in there. And I mean, technically that could happen, but I haven't seen that happen, at least with the family units. So I was just walking them through the process and explaining to them, like, look, this is what's going to happen. Just be aware of this. Make sure that you grab copies of any documents they give you and things like that.
I'm here to visit a client. I need to get some documentation in order to proceed with his case. So I'm trying to get additional documentation in order to ask the judge to give us another hearing. He's an asylum seeker coming here to the United States. He passed a credible fear interview. Before I can't give any more specific details other than that, just because of attorney-client privilege. But right now we're trying to get him released from detention.
We get a lot of mail from the detention center, from people also seeking legal assistance there. I've taken quite a few asylum cases from the detention center. It's a difficult place, a difficult environment to be at. As soon as you walk in there, you know it's really not a detention center. It looks, from the outside, it looks more like a prison. I would say the majority of the people that I've actually helped have never been detained or in prison or jail before. All of them find it very challenging to process why they're being detained when they're trying to seek protection in the United States. I was born in Mexico. I was raised Catholic. But working for a Jewish organization, I've been here since October. It's been quite a few months. It's been one of the best experiences for me. I think it's a community that is very open and embraces people that need the assistance. In this case, the immigrant community. I'm an immigrant myself. I haven't gone through the hardships that Jewish refugees went through or that immigrants are going through right now. And I think working with immigrants has made me realize how lucky I am and how privileged I am to have had the opportunities that I had. And I know that the work that I do makes a big impact in their lives.